for a second, let's explore calendars inside of GoHighLevel, because I think this is important, especially if you're going to be setting appointments. You're going to be maybe doing round robins with sales team members, or you might want to set up, just sessions with folks. All right. So there are other applications in this space. There's Calendly, there's there's Acuity Scheduler. And I'll say this, all of these platforms used to have an edge because they were all sort of early to this space. But now, I mean, syncing your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar, syncing that stuff, a lot of that has become sort of common practice now. So you're starting to see it inside of tools like this. All right. Now, I'm going to start with this view just to show that when you do start to get your calendar populated, you have full access to all of it directly inside of your GoHighLevel instance, right? So let's say you do have a salesperson and they're setting appointments and they're confirming stuff and they're coordinating with you. They could manage all of that from a single view, all right? Now, what's most common though is for you to create like an appointment page and then be able to have the ability for someone to say, hey, let me book with you, right? So if you go to the calendar settings, this is where you have the ability to create your own types of calendar. So you could consider this to be sort of like different types of appointments, right? So I have my personal calendar here. It's not my real personal calendar, but I'm just going to set it like that here. When I go to new calendar, this is going to present you with the ability to determine what type of appointment this would be or what type of calendar item this would be, right? So if you're going to be having someone book you for like a one-on-one, then you would have a personal booking. If you want to do a round robin where, let's say, it's every time somebody books, it's kind of assigning that appointment to someone else on the sales team based off of how many appointments they have. You could do a class booking where it's like multiple participants. You could also do a service booking as well. So if you have like a spa business or if you have a repair service, something like that, you could do services. Now, I'm just going to do personal booking just for now, just to show you some of the settings, right? So first thing first is you would be identifying what this calendar is, right? So you would name the calendar based off of what type of appointment it is, right? Depending on how many team members you have in your on your team, you would assign that particular team member to be the one that owns this calendar item. All right. Now, every booking calendar is going to have a booking link. So that's what you're going to be providing to people. If you're going to be giving them that link, they're going to click on it and they're going to reach a page where they can select the time. I'm going to show you that here in a moment. Of course, with any booking, you're going to identify the amount of time it is. And then down here, you'll notice there's like a accept payments. So this is if you have like a service or if you have like a consultation session and there's a cost associated to it. Now, I will say this. Now, I don't want to project my recommendations on here, right? But here's one thing that I've seen that a lot of folks do. They'll say, hey, I want this session that people are going to be booking with me. I want this session to be $100, $200, whatever, right? What they'll do, they'll create this payment wall, and what happens is they'll realize that they're getting little dribbles of appointments, or they might not be getting any appointments at all. The reason for that is because you've now created some friction in someone giving you their information and taking the time to carve that out of their day. What I would recommend normally, and again, I don't want to project my recommendation on you, but what I normally recommend is to not have this as a gateway, but maybe inside of the description of the calendar item, you can say that a payment is going to be made prior to this actual booking. Now, what you can do inside of GoHighLevel is schedule an invoice to be sent out to whoever booked a certain amount of time prior to an appointment or right after the booking has taken place or the actual scheduling has taken place. All right. So now, one big question is, well, hey, what if I have my Google Calendar here and my Outlook calendar here? If you want to sync your calendars, there is under connections here, this is where you can go to add new. And this is where you can directly sync it with your Google Outlook or your iCloud, or if you're using Calendly for a few other things, you could sync with that as well. And you could also sync this with Meet, Zoom, and Teams. All right. So there's no limit to what major calendar system you can sync it with here, right? Now, jumping back, there are a couple different views to be able to see, um, how your appointments are being set. I'm going to hop back to the calendar settings here, right? Um, if you have different sort of rooms or types or groups of appointments, you could have different sort of menus that they would be selecting from. And if there's different equipment that you're assigning for different appointments, all of this is a lot of it's based off of service-based um, service-based bookings, right? Now I'm going to jump back in here because it's something that I sort of missed. If I come down to advanced settings here and I go to form and confirmation, this is where essentially when someone is booking with you, you're asking them a certain number of questions. So first of all, of course, you're going to ask them for their name, their email, maybe their phone number, have some notes. But you have the ability to select what form they're going to be completing in order to book, right? So you would essentially create this form prior to creating the calendar item, or you can make it after and then just select it here. But that form is going to have all of the input. So if you want to do like a little survey prior to someone booking, you can do that. If you want to do you can even do a survey after they book. This one is actually before in order for them to book. So you could just identify what you want from them. Now, I heed my warning here, okay? Heed my warning. Um, if you're signing up for A2P authentication, you want to be careful with capturing their phone numbers inside of these forms and then having this scheduling link or this booking link somewhere on your website. All right, you want to be careful with that. Anytime you're asking for the phone number, you got to make sure that you have the right disclaimers on that particular form. All right, so if you have all of that already configured, then have at it. If you haven't configured that yet, please, I'm begging you, don't get A2P rejected because you're asking for a phone number to get people to book appointments. All right, this is what trips a lot of folks up. What's really cool is that most recently, GoHighLevel used to charge a certain amount every time. Like, let's say you file for A2P, you pay the $25, and then let's say you get rejected. Initially, you were being charged $15 every time you went to get re-authenticated. But now I believe they got rid of that ongoing charge. So if you get rejected, fix it, come back to it, and whatever. Now, within each one of these booking links, you will have a consent checkbox, and you can write what you need to in here. So you could also have some disclaimers in here as well. After someone books with you, you of course have the control over what they see, right? Are they just going to see a message, or do you want to redirect them to a URL? What I would recommend most times is if you're getting someone to book with you, sometimes you might want to provide them with a little bit more context after they book. So you can create a landing page, and then you could input the landing page URL here. And on the landing page, you could make it where that's a video of you saying, hey, thank you for booking. Very excited to connect with you on the date that you selected. Prior to, you're going to be receiving a couple things. You're going to receive an email confirmation. There are a couple things I'm going to need you to prepare before blah, blah, blah. So you can do that inside of a video, put that inside of a landing page, and boom, that's a really cool experience. All right. Now, if you have any questions about this stuff, hit me up. If you would like for me to help you set up your calendar in GoHighLevel, hit me up. There's a link inside of the description. I have no problem, working with you on getting a lot of this stuff configured. But overall, hope you learned something today. Hit me up if you have any questions. All right, peace.